is a way of saying you didn't change the subject smoothly. You didn't go from one subject to the next subject smoothly. Okay, let's see, what's the next one here? Breeze through something. All right, who would like to read that one? Hey Yoon?
Yes.
Breeze
through something, meaning pass through some place swiftly and without lingering. To make progress with something quickly and effortlessly. Example, I breezed through the chemistry exam because I joined a new study group who really helped me to study. Related saying, pass with flying colors, sail through nail it.
So you could say, I passed through, or I passed the chemistry with flying colors because I joined a new study group. Or you could say, I sailed through the chemistry exam because I joined a new study group. Or I nailed that chemistry exam because I joined a new study group. So any one of those phrases mean just about the same thing. I had good results, they were wonderful, and I did it without a lot of work. Well, to say that about chemistry for me is, that would be amazing. Anyway, let's see the next one. Proof is in the pudding. Does anyone remember this one? Who would like to read this one?
Hello?
Hello. Go right ahead.
Yeah, I want to read this.
Good.
Proof is in the pudding, meaning the success of something can only be measured by putting it to its intent, use, origin. This Christmas pudding was made throughout many steps. It wasn't a pretty dessert, but the proof was in tasting the dish. Example, you will have to drive the car before you buy it, since the proof is in the pudding.
So the pudding, traditionally, this saying was about just a lump. I should have had the picture here. I'm sorry I didn't, but it's just a lump of cooked pudding, and each person would get their own dish, but it wasn't anything that was pretty or remarkable, but it was a very tasty and delicious pudding. Like I said, it wasn't pretty, but the proof was in the eating of the pudding. So the success of this is the result. So you actually see the result after you open up whatever project, or after you open up the, or after you're using the car, or after you're using the piece of equipment, you find out, oh, wow, that's great. And the proof is in using it. Well, you want to know about that car or that whatever you're going to buy. It would be nice to know about that ahead of time. So how many use reviews online to find out about things before you buy them? We have a magazine here in America. Now it's online too. It's called Consumer Reports. And that particular magazine or website gives reviews of a lot of different pieces of equipment, or it also gives reviews of insurance and phones and so on. But they compare a bunch of cars, or they compare a bunch of products, and then they tell you, hey, this one worked out really well. So you don't have to buy it and find out later it wasn't very good and the proof was not there. So anyway, that's a little word about where you can get information about products, especially if you are, if you're buying on some of these online websites, they have a place for you to put up your reviews. It's a good thing to go and look through the reviews to find out about your product before you buy it. All right, the next one, hang in there. Who would like to read that?
Okay, I would like to read this one.
Go right ahead.
Hang in there, meaning you are offering encouragement to someone going through a tough time. Origin, the expression became popular in the 19th century due to a popular poster that bore the praise example, hang in there, things are going to get better. Related sayings, be patient, don't give up hope, keep going, stay with it.
Right. So this little kitty cat poster, I actually remember having it when I was a kid. And it was an encouragement to stick with it. It's going to get better. And this is an encouragement phrase that's it's not very old. So anyway, let's go on to Face the Music. This is a fun one. Who would like to read this one?
May I, teacher?
Yes, please.
Face the music, meaning to accept responsibility for something you have done, or confronting disagreeable criticism for your actions. Origin. One theory to the origin was that in the military, the disgraced officers was dismissed to the feeding of drums and band music. A7. It's time to face the music and admit you are part in that fiasco.
Fiasco. So
Yes.
a fiasco means it's a disaster. It's something that really did not work out. And facing the music means that you have to accept the responsibility or the criticism or the consequences for your actions. We'll go to the next one. Don't miss a trick. All right, who would like to read this one?
May I please read that?
Yes, please do, Sarah.
Doesn't miss a trick, meaning someone who is sharp and watches people very closely to know what is happening, to take advantage of every possible opportunity. Origin. In card games, it is helpful to watch closely the cards that are being played. Then you're able to play the right card to win each hand. Example, Elaine doesn't miss a trick. She's very observant. Related saying, sharp as a tack.
So I don't know if you play cards together. We have game nights or family nights where we play games together. Either we play as a family or we play as friends. And some of our friends like to play cards. Other friends like to play board games. And it's really important to watch the cards or the play that's happening. So don't miss a trick, or doesn't miss a trick means that the person is really watching very closely so nobody cheats. And my mother was famous for this. And because my brothers were tricksters, and my big brother would really like to cheat. And so my mother would catch him and she would say, no, no, no. And so she would not miss a trick. She was watching him close. And that was the brother that blew up the chemistry lab. So now you know why she watched him so close. So don't miss a trick. Now, the other related saying there is sharp as a tack. So, you know, pins that you use to put things on the wall, the pins that you use have to be very, very sharp. And so that person who's sharp as a tack can get through and recognize, you know, problems before they happen. Okay, jump on the bandwagon. This was a fun and popular saying. Okay, who would like to read this one?
Can I share?
Who did we have? Two folks or just one? Jasmine, did you say you wanted to read?
Yes.
Yes, go right ahead.
Step on the bedwalk, meaning join the popular activity or group origin first seen in 1848 when a famous clown would use his circus bedwagon to transport politicians around town while the music attracted the public to an area where the campaign speeches were being given. Example, so many people are trying to quit smoking that I might as well jump on the bandwagon and quite as well. The later saying, get it on the deck, following the footsteps.
So in that time period, you know, the 1800s, even, you know, late 1700s, 1800s, in Europe, they would have these traveling circuses. In America, we also had traveling circuses. Did you have traveling circuses? Do you remember your parents and grandparents talking about when the circus came to town? So in the long ago, we had circuses that would come to town, and some circuses came to town by a train. Other circuses used big trucks. Some used wagons drawn by horses. And the circus would have such big wagons that they could actually have musicians on these wagons playing the music as they came to town, basically announcing, dun, da, 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 the circus is coming to town. And politicians grabbed that and asked them, probably paid them, to use their bandwagons and their musicians to attract people to their campaign speeches. And so the phrase came, jump on the bandwagon, come on and jump on the bandwagon. We're all going to go hear this politician speak. So this has become a phrase for, you know, we're going to get everybody together to do the same thing. We're all going to jump on the bandwagon and go run this marathon, or we're all going to jump on the bandwagon and quit smoking, or we're all going to jump on the bandwagon and try this new food, that sort of thing. So get in the act and follow in the footsteps of whatever they're trying to get everyone to do. Those are also related phrases. So I wish we would have that bandwidth, because I'd like to show you a video about jump on the bandwagon, and that's something that I think would make it a little bit easier to understand. Okay, Hlang, you raised your hand. Did you want to read this one? Did
Yes.
I get your name right?
Yes, I would like to this one.
Please do.
Yes, smart cookie, meaning now meaning smart, confident, or clever. Origin in 1920s, cookies was made to refer to a beautiful young woman. The saying, how can I pronounce?
Morphed. It means changed.
Monk, monk,
Morphed.
monk, monk. In the 1948, and it was amended to smart cookie and could refer to either a young woman or young man who dressed smartly, attractively. Example, she is one smart cookie. She gave us the facts and figures we needed to make the decision about that car. Related saying, touch cookie.
So cookie was kind of a slang word used to mean young lady in the beginning. And it kind of changed over time to mean smart or clever or confident young person. And it went from meaning a girl to meaning anybody. So if we're talking about a young person, usually who's a smart cookie, it's a confident or a clever person who has the answers, you know, they know their stuff. This, I guess, if we really got down to it, this could be similar to smart as a tack or doesn't miss a trick. So smart cookie. All right, well, we really breezed through those really fast. So let's open up to discussion. And what have you been reading or seeing on YouTube lately? Or let's even ask a different question. How would you like to study? How would you like to study idioms differently? So I had the idea the other day that you might like to have a quiz, because about now, we've already discussed over 100, maybe even more idioms. And it might be helpful to go back and review and say, hey, let's have a short quiz and see if you remember what we've already learned. Because, you know, back to the beginning, remember when the first couple of times we got together and I said, you know, gee whiz, there are thousands of these expressions. And the goal that I have is that we should review the ones most likely to be on that TOEFL exam. So anyway, I'll put it out there and we can discuss how you would like to proceed. If you'd like to do, maybe next time we can do a quiz and review. I'll have to see if I can take a poll. Maybe Tien can help me to take a poll and so on. Oliver, you raised your hand.
So you said there are many thousands of idioms and expressions. So how can I memorize them?
That's a good question. That's a really good question. So part of that is when we're looking at those thousands of expressions, I was, you know, like this particular book, okay, this one has, I think he said, this one has only 1,000-ish expressions. Okay, so that's like about an inch thick. All right. This one, believe it or not, this guy only has 100. So imagine if we were to try to pack in all of these thousands of expressions and their meanings and their origins. Again, you know, it's a website. So remember when I gave you that Voice of America website, which I could do that again. When you go on the Voice of America website and put in English in a minute, you can hear idioms really quickly that way. And you can just see a real fast one. It's not that they go into a long explanation. It's just real quick, English in a minute. But the more you read and the more you hear, the more you'll remember, especially if you're seeing. And that's one of the things that this kind of a setting does not do very well, because there's not a lot of visual to back up that thousands of expressions. So Oliver, really the answer to that is using and reviewing and reviewing and using. And so for example, who remembers, and we've actually used this one several times, hit the hay. Who remembers that one? Hit the hay.
Yes. And
Oliver?
I is going to sleep or going to
Right.
bed.
Right. And do you remember why?
Because a few days ago I used that idiom.
You did?
My-
Okay. I'm going to hit the hay. You said
Yes.
it. Okay. I'm going to go to sleep. I'm going to go to bed. Because in the olden days, they used hay for their bed. They used hay to sleep on. Okay, let's think of another one. Hold on a second. We've talked about this one several times, and that is raining cats and dogs.
It means like the rain is raining very heavily. It's
Right.
just like that.
Yes. And did you have rain this past week?
Yeah.
Okay. Was it raining hard?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.